in the Los Angeles area, we have all experienced the unending traffic. It is not a scenario hard to imagine. Sitting in traffic for over an hour to cross a few miles with people pulling the most insane moves, risking multiple lives to get over lanes of traffic that often look like this: pure chaos. And according to ABC 7 News, an ABC 7 News article, commuting by public transport takes twice as long as just driving alone. Despite being the worst option economically and environmentally, road designs often favor personal cars over any other form of transportation. Not only does this create terrible air pollution, but there's also a personal cost to road congestion. INRIX, a transportation analytics company, reported that on average, Americans lose almost 100 hours a year due to traffic. This time costs people over $1,000. This issue can be resolved by reforming roads, giving way to better public forms of transportation like buses, subway systems, bikes, and pedestrian sidewalks. Today, I will call attention to the inefficient use of public transportation in a car-centric society. Then go through the root of the problem, the roads not being designed for sustainable transit. Lastly, I will discuss possible solutions and what can be done to make public transportation more reliable and safe. Current public transportation systems are far from perfect due to a lack of support and the high number of cars, which increase blockage. There are too few lanes made available to buses. As a result, they have to compete with regular traffic while making significantly more stops. Additionally, much more money gets put into projects like building more or larger freeways and roads, with the primary consumer being individual cars over public transportation. Oliver Millman, an environmental reporter for The Guardian, explains that of a 2021 $1.2 trillion bill towards infrastructure, over half has gone towards expanding highways, as a result promoting and increasing the use of cars. However, only 1/5 of this total went towards public transit. If there is a clear issue in road designs, there must be a reason as to why they were created in this manner. Infrastructure that prioritizes cars is a multifaceted issue that stems from racism and the corresponding disparities between wealth classes. A housing reporter for the Cal Matters organization, Ben Christopher, discusses how gentrification relates to a lowered usage in public transportation. He references a UCLA research study that reports in neighborhoods well served by buses and trains, transit ridership tended to fall in places where the rents were rising. Not only are people, often people of color, pushed out of their living spaces due to skyrocketing rent prices, but it also becomes impossible to move throughout these gentrified areas without a personal car. However, those moving in are more likely to be able to afford their own vehicle and face no consequences for this loss of public transport. This is where wealth disparities come into play. A statistic from the Kelley Blue Book this year, the average price of a used car is often over $25,000. Yet, once this car is bought, there are endless other expenses needed to maintain it, including gas, insurance rates, and general maintenance. Cars require an exorbitant amount of money. Under the Institute of Transportation and Development Policy, people spend approximately $12.2 thousand annually on their car as of 2023, likely to be more now after the hit of tariffs and increase in gas prices. So, roads that prioritize cars increase car sales because they are the most convenient option. This issue does not come from a lack of options, but the progression of cars being prioritized. However, with an issue so ingrained in the US society, what does a solution look like? I will dissect this solution into two parts. The first being what the ideal road looks like, the second on how to implement this. An article on car use, Mark Schlossberg a professor of city and regional planning at the University of Oregon, explains how a majority of commutes consist of a singular person, and that about 90% of a car's existence is spent idly. This best illustrates why cars are the least efficient form of transportation, taking time and money to do a mediocre job. DCR Designs has an improved road system that allows for more people on the road but fewer cars. Here is the mock-up. Incorporating larger pedestrian areas, space for foliage and greenery, limiting parking zones, clear bus lanes, and only a couple of lanes for individual vehicles deprioritizes the necessity for cars, while limiting the amount of traffic. This solution seems simple and obvious, but the larger issue is implementation. In order to make this the new norm, we need to advocate for and support legislation that will make this possibility a reality. This means paying attention to local elections and measures related to transportation. The problem of inefficient public transportation has been identified, with the cause being car-centric roads. We now also have a solution, remodeling roads to include all forms of transport, by foot, bike, bus, and car, with a large emphasis on the public methods. A solution that invites equity, better financial decisions, and an improved environment. Adapting roads to be more inclusive is imperative to having a safer and less congested commute for all people. So the next time you are experiencing road rage from standstill traffic, redirect that anger towards the system that created those streets. If we want to keep moving, we have to get moving on improving our infrastructure.